Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk, 888-589-8840. Get to the phones here in just a quick minute. Paul Ryan's already surrendered on the government shutdown over the continuing resolution. A lot of conservatives, I'm among them, would love to see this continuing resolution. There's no budget, so this is just a continuing resolution to keep funding the government limping along under current spending levels until October. I think it's a terrible idea. We need a budget. We need to hash it out. We need to have a debate, but they're not doing it. Republicans have agreed to a continuing resolution, just kick the can down the road. And conservatives look at this as an opportunity. This is an opportunity to defund Obamacare. They want a continuing resolution. Here's what it's going to cost you. You're going to have to give up funding to implement Obamacare. Or if you want a continuing resolution, you got to cough up conscience rights for Christian business owners on the abortifacient mandate. But Paul Ryan already has rolled over on that, not going to fight it. It is a done deal. Let's play the Rand Paul clip number 6. I set this up and then forgot to play it, where Sean Hannity asks him, look, what are you? Sean Hannity says, look, I'm a conservative. I consider myself a Reagan conservative. Are you a libertarian? Are you a libertarian Republican? What exactly are you? Here's how the exchange went.
You identify yourself as more a libertarian conservative. If people ask me, I'm a registered conservative in New York. I consider myself a Reagan conservative. Is libertarian fair, or do you shun that? Do you like that? Do you embrace it? What?
It depends on what people mean by it. I use the term constitutional conservative, but I also use the term libertarian conservative. And one reason why I think conservative has to be modified is that when we were in power as Republicans, we said we were conservative, but we doubled the debt also. We added new Medicare prescription drug programs. We added on new programs and new debt. So really, the conservative term really maybe has to be specified more, either libertarian conservative or constitutional conservative. But I accept all of those terms if they mean that it believes in limited government and more individual liberty.
So Rand Paul, I think I'm with him on that. I like the sound of that. I would consider myself a constitutional conservative as well, and he's exactly right. We've been very hard on the Republicans for doubling the size of the debt. Bush was just about as bad as Obama was over 2 terms. It took Bush 2 terms to rack up the kind of debt that Barack Obama did in 1. But that is not exactly to George Bush's credit. One quick thing before we go to the phones, 888-589-8840. Now, the White House, they've come out today, and by the way, Harry Reid is blaming the death of the 7 Marines, if you can believe it, in Nevada on the sequester. Harry Reid's out there blaming the Republicans and the sequester for the death of those 7 Marines in the explosion this morning. So that he's just a reprehensible little malicious man. He's just an ugly little man to me. You wonder how that guy ever got to a place of prominence in American politics. But the White House came out today and said the White House Easter egg roll is going to go on as scheduled. Now, they sent out an email last week with the tickets to other members of Congress, and they said in the email that they sent out, look, you have to understand that this thing could get called off because of the sequester. If I can get the exact words here. Here are the exact words from the White House. Finally, by using these tickets, guests are acknowledging that this event is subject to cancellation due to funding uncertainty surrounding the executive office of the president and other federal agencies. In other words, the sequester could force us to cancel the Easter egg roll. Now, here is a reporter that asks Jay Carney about this, and Jay Carney just lies through his teeth, and he does it with a tone of condescension and arrogance at the same time. Let's listen.
So let me ask you a little bit about these White House tours. The president gave an interview earlier this week, and he said, this isn't a White House decision, it's a Secret Service decision, but I'm going to ask, I'm paraphrasing the president, I'm going to ask to see if they can figure out a way to get school kids in. He also said, though, that this is a consequence of sequestration. So, Jay, which is it? Is there room to change this, or is this the consequence of sequester?
Well, it is the consequence of sequester. I'm surprised to hear the suggestion this late date that it's anything else. The Secret Service like every agency in government, has to cut its budget significantly because of sequester. That's how the law was written, and that's what everyone's doing at Defense and everywhere else across the government, including the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Secret Service.
But the White House is going to be open for the Easter egg roll for families, for Congress, but not open for families that are just, you know, regular families out there that want to visit
Well,
the White
actually,
House.
Jenna, again, if you did a little reporting, you'd know that the Easter egg roll is open for a lot of military families, A. B, it's paid for by the sale of those, those eggs that come out, as well as from donations on the outside. So it's a totally different budget.
That's a lie.
You know, these are apples and oranges.
That's a lie. That's just Jay Carney. Do a little reporting. You find out that the White House is the one that's saying we're going to have to cancel it because of the sequester. Let's go to Ricky in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ricky, welcome to Focal Point. Okay, let me see if we can, there we go. Ricky, are you with me? Do we have Ricky? Okay, we're having a little problem with the caller software. Should I go to the next caller? All right. Okay, we're got a glitch with our phone caller software, so once we get that worked out, we'll get right back to the phones. I wanted to bring you that piece of good news on the abortion front. Piece on a website called Remapping Debate. They do demographic mapping and stuff like that. And they did some extensive research into abortion providers, and they are discovering that the abortion community is having a major problem getting doctors to do abortions. They don't want to touch it. They don't want to be involved in it. Typically, the abortion training is done when they're in medical school or in their residency, but none of the residency programs now require it, and only about half of them even offer it as an opt-in where you can get training because doctors simply don't want to do it. And if you get a doctor, an OBGYN, you get him into his practice and he's not doing abortions from the beginning, none of them will switch gears in the middle of their careers. They don't want to start doing abortions in the middle of their OBGYN career. So they're having a serious problem. These outfits, these organizations that do mid-career training in abortions, they're training maybe one doctor a year. So the reality is that the abortion industry is running out of abortion practitioners. That's one of the reasons why California has been trying to make it possible for nurses and even people with lesser training than nurses to be able to do abortions. This is just such a heinous procedure. You know, people go into medicine because they want to help people. They don't go into medicine to kill people and pull things apart. They go into medicine because they want to help. So that is the really, really good news in this remapping debate. They couldn't even get anybody at Planned Parenthood to even talk to them. How are you dealing with this problem? How are you going to solve this problem of running out of abortion doctors? Planned Parenthood wouldn't even talk to them. So they've got a serious, serious problem on their hand. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our winnable war moment for the day. I mean, we are winning the war for the souls and hearts and minds of the American people, and even better, the souls, minds, and hearts of America's doctors, America's OB-GYNs. Let's go to Ricky, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ricky, welcome. What's on your mind?
Yes, Brian, I want to comment about, you was talking about Karl Rove and the other guy, I didn't catch his name, about he came down hard on the Missouri senator that, you know, said the truth about being conservative about women.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said, okay, well, you know, Karl Rove ran Dole's campaign, he lost. He ran McCain's campaign, he lost, and he ran the Mormon guy's campaign, he lost too. Isn't the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome? I really believe Karl Rove has been bought. Karl Rove cannot be that stupid, that dumb, that ignorant on who the conservative Republican Party wants to be as a candidate. You know, we want somebody like Ted Cruz to be the president. And, you know, the fact that he's not on the same plane as us, I really believe George Soros must have bought off Karl Rove, if you want to know the truth. I mean, he cannot be that stupid to believe, keep picking lukewarm candidates, he's going to keep losing. He has to have been bought off by George Soros. You know, I mean, everybody's got their for him to keep losing and then want to lose again by putting $10 million to try to get the illegal Latino votes. We already tried that. Reagan gave him amnesty, and hardly none of them voted for him at all. So why do they want to do that again? I mean, they're totally stupid.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, Ricky. And these consultants like Carl, they're going to make bank on getting candidates to hire them and give them a lot of money to run their campaigns and do ads for them and all that. And Karl Rove and these consultant class, they seem to be convinced you can't win on social issues, that social issues are losers in a campaign. So they will try to keep a candidate off of that message, try to mute that message, try to silence it, not send it. And they lose every time when they do that. They keep losing, but for some reason, they just have this stubborn commitment to the point of view that those are losing issues. And yet they keep getting these high-priced contracts to run campaigns for people. And I agree with you. It's time for the Republican Party to stop listening to those guys whatsoever. All right, Ricky, listen, I appreciate that. Let's go to Dave, Columbus, Mississippi. Dave, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, I wanted to kind of roll back to the immigration issue.
Yes, sir.
And one thing that just kind of frustrates me whenever I hear the Republican side of the immigration issue.
Mm-hmm.
And, they talk about building fences and kicking people out. But the gorilla in the corner, it's the 14th Amendment. And, if the 14th Amendment was given an expiration date, a lot of these people wouldn't be coming here illegally.
Are you talking about the birthright citizenship idea?
Correct.
Yeah.
But, what the Republicans aren't mentioning is that the 14th Amendment is also the amendment that the judicial system has used to give corporations the rights of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's an interesting wrinkle, and I appreciate the call, Dave, and I'll come back. I don't have time to elaborate on this before the break. But there's a little phrase in the 14th Amendment that's really crucial when it comes to understanding illegal immigration. And I think it provides some clarity and an answer to the question about whether somebody who is born on American soil to illegal aliens, whether that child is entitled to birthright citizenship, and I argue constitutionally that they are not, and I'll explain why when we come back. Focal Point, AFR Talk.